Hey everybody, welcome to 32 Bar Cut. I'm Austin Cook, Broadway pianist and music director working on shows such as Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen. Today, I'm starting a solo series where I talk about 10 tips for all kinds of various things, but today's is going to be focused on the audition and dealing with the accompanist. So let's dive right in. All right, tip number one. The first thing you're going to do in every musical theater audition, walk straight to the piano player while taking in the room and saying hi. If they make eye contact, say hello. If they don't, ignore it. Just head straight to the piano in confidence because they may be writing notes from the previous person. You don't need them to give you permission. The monitor has already told you what to do, or the casting director. Just enter the room. They told you to go in, enter the room in confidence, head to that piano. Okay, tip number two. Treat the accompanist like your BFF's BFF, okay? They're not your enemy. They're not a client. They're not your boss, okay? You don't need that like cold energy just telling them what to do. No, but they're also not your friend. You don't need to ask them how they're doing, how's their family doing, how the show they're working on is, if you're stalking them. Don't do any of that. Just treat them like you want to make a good impression. They're your friend's friend. You kind of want to be friendly, have fun, interact together, but not too personal, but also not too cold. They're not your enemy. Okay, so after you've entered the room in confidence, you've headed to the piano, you're treating the accompanist like your friend's friend. You're treating them nicely, but not too nice, but also not mean. Now, what do? You set your book on the piano. Again, this may seem obvious. Austin, I know. No, because clearly we don't, because there's a lot of discrepancy on this that I see. Sometimes they hand me the book nervously. Sometimes they don't know what to do, and there's this awkward like partnering going on. Should I take your book or not? You can put the book on the piano. So go ahead and take your book, set it on the piano nicely, open it up to the first song, which takes us into tip number 4. Have the song you're singing that day at the front of your book. Don't keep it way buried. Don't have to flip to tab number 8 to get to it. Put the songs you're singing right there at the front. You want to do this for a couple reasons. Number one, it's easier, it's faster, it's right there. Number two, it kind of gives the impression that this audition today is the important audition. When it's buried in the back of the book, it kind of feels like, oh, they do this all the time. It's just another audition, whatever. So it just kind of has that little bit of priority given on today's. Let's take a look at a sample book. So here I have Adrienne's, my wife, Adrienne Walker. I have one of her old books from a while back. This is from years ago, just to use as a sample. So what we see here is at the beginning, we have kind of a index of all of, or the table of contents of stuff in the book. That's fine, that's helpful. And then when I flip to 1, I want this to be today's song. So today I'm singing Gravity. It's right here, ready to go. And then we'll talk about the rest of this in a second, but that's important. So when you get it on the piano, you open it up, this is the song we're gonna talk about. Which takes us into tip number 5. What you wanna do now that you've opened it up to the song is you wanna state the name of the song, what show it's from, and the composer, well, if it's from a show, and the composer who wrote the song, whether or not it's a musical or it's a pop song, just who sung in it. And then also after that, you want to say if it's a traditional version you're doing, or if you're doing like a jazz arrangement of it, or if there's like a funk version of it, or an unplugged version of it. You just kind of want to give a sense of the accompanist to know this is the normal way to do it. If you're singing something from Les Mis on my own, I'm doing on my own, it's the same standard arrangement. That kind of clues me in to know, okay, at least I'm not looking for something, they're wanting something weird. I already know the song, I'm going to give it a standard arrangement. I'm going to play it the same way it always is. All right, tip number 6. The next thing you want to do after saying the song and the arrangement style and who wrote it, you want to talk about the cuts in the song. So let's take a look at this sample. So we have Gravity. So now I know that I'm going to start here because I've written start very clearly and I've highlighted it. Don't take that for granted, by the way. You want to have start so the accompanist knows when they're looking start. We see a lot of audition cuts in one audition day, and sometimes we start right in the middle, sometimes we start in the thing. Someone else might have sung the same song and we have that in our head. Make it very clear. You want to make it so obvious. So right here we have start. That makes it obvious for me. Now let's take a look at the cut. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, notice this cut here. Now when you make a cut, you're going to make it like this. Okay, and let's get a sample version. So let's take this version here and let's do some practice cuts here so we get an idea. So say I want to cut from the moment I'm gone to Not feel your rain. I want to cut this section out. I don't have enough bars, so I need to cut this out. So let's take a look at how to do that. The best way is to make 2 lines like this, 2 lines like this, a little circle in between. Okay, this is the way that music directors and musicians make cuts. Okay, so then we're going to take those 2 lines, and then we're just going to do a little whoop, a little S, backwards S. There, and we're going to connect them. Now, that's not enough. It's not enough just to make your cuts, okay? You want to then take a highlighter and you want to draw attention to those cuts because you don't want them to miss it. So we're going to highlight it, bang, bang. Now, I can't possibly miss this cut. So as I'm talking through it, I say there's a cut from here to here. That's super obvious for me. I can't miss it, okay? You don't need to do scribbles. So some of you do all these scribbles and all this stuff. That's distracting. Don't do that. Get rid of all the scribbles. Just make it real clean. You just want to zoop, zoop. So ultimately, final product, we're looking at this. I can't miss it. It's so easy for me, okay? And then you'll notice as I continue to talk through, I have another one right here. Now you'll see I made an X right here for this one. That is just because it makes it a little bit simple. So I'm not scribbling it out, but that way I know I'm not playing that. I see this highlight here and I see that it comes right over here. There I go. And then I X to this out. Just one clean X. Don't scribble. Just one clean X, the highlight. I can't mess it up. Now, there's another thing that you could do that we do sometimes is if you could photocopy this. If you have access to a photocopier, photocopy this with a white piece of paper here taped, and then it will make this completely white. So now, all of a sudden, I'm just seeing those tapes. That makes it even clearer. And then if I were to do the same thing here, if I were to photocopy this with a white piece of paper, then all of a sudden is all I'm seeing is what I'm supposed to play. That's another great way to make this even easier to read. Why do you want to make this? Why do you want to go through all this work to do it this way? Well, it's simple. The accompanist only has one shot to get this right, and it's your audition. It's your opportunity to book the job. You want it to be as easy for them as possible. So you're making this so they cannot possibly mess it up. They only get one try. Make it easy. Don't have all these scribbles, all these lines, all these things. Make it super clean. So again, looking at this example, start. I know I'm playing. Oh, I see a marker. I go straight to here. That's obvious. I'm playing. I see another marker. I go straight to here. I'm playing. I play through the, and then end. It's super obvious. I'm going to nail it as an accompanist, and you've made my life easy. Okay, that takes us to tip number 7. We've talked about the cuts. Now we want to talk about important details to the song. So after the cuts, you want to kind of talk about some, real quickly, some flavor things that maybe are important. Before we get to tempo, we're not talking about tempo yet. So we're just talking about things that maybe mess them up. Maybe here there's a big key change, and I go from C major to B. I go down to B with 5 sharps. Maybe it wasn't written correctly or something. You want to highlight that. So say I change key, get out the pink, ooh, draw attention to that. And now we're changing to the key of B here. That way I know. Because again, that may be something I miss and then it's going to sound off and then I'm going to ruin your audition. I don't want to ruin your audition. Another thing that you're going to want to draw attention to is things like fermatas. So some songs right in the middle, you may have this very long power belt note. You hold it for a while and then you have some of these railroad tracks. That means a big pause. This is jura. Okay. When you have that, you want to kind of draw attention to that in this talk through with the accompanist. So say I do a big fermata here and then just play a C chord at the end. Something simple. You just want to explain what it is that they should be looking out for. Maybe it's dynamics. Maybe the song normally is really loud and big and you're trying to do it quiet. Just make sure you tell them that. Say, hey, at the beginning, make sure it's marked in the music. I like to start piano. I like to start really soft and then give it somewhere to go. You can say those kind of arrangement notes to the accompanist, and then they better understand what to do so they can nail this audition with you. Also, for those of you that don't have an intro, some songs you just want to start right on the lyrics. You want to start right on the melody. For those of you that want a bell tone, now's a good time to say, I would like a bell tone, a G bell tone, or a D bell tone, whatever it is. Okay, tip number 8. We want to give now a clean and clear tempo. This is so crucial. So many actors and actresses mess this crucial part up. Without the tempo, this is where things go wrong so many times. Number 1, you're nervous. So at an audition, you're typically coming in with some nervous energy. That's going to make the tempos fast. So you want to add, you've had all this time to kind of calm down, to talk, to make friends with the accompanist, to explain all these details. Now you're kind of tuned into the room and kind of calm. Now take a deep breath and give your tempo clearly. You can conduct the tempo. If you know how to conduct, you can conduct it. If you want to just pat your leg, you can pat your leg. If you want to clap or snap quietly, you can do that. Not too loud, but you can just snap. And let's take gravity. So gravity, let's take this tempo. What would I do? I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Something always brings me back to you. Maybe. Now you say, why did you sing? Well, I sang quietly because I want the accompanist to know the feel. Sometimes, especially if I'm back phrasing the vocals, by doing that, I kind of know as an accompanist, okay, they're kind of back phrasing that, but they want this clear tempo, and I understand. Also really important, sometimes you get in musical theater auditions, you get double time songs or half time songs, and they're kind of written in 2/2, or they're written really quickly, and you, as an accompanist, you may not know the song, and you may have, in your mind, when you're looking at it, you may think it's like twice as fast as it actually is. So by singing the melody, it helps the accompanist just to tune in, oh, it's a lot slower than I was thinking. Right, that is the half note. That is not a quarter note. It just helps, again, keep it clear. So again, to recap, you want to either conduct, you want to snap, pat your leg, clap, and make sure it's steady. And if you have a really slow song, you can subdivide 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and real clear. If it's fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, ba, 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 ba. Again, that's very clear. All right, we're almost there. We're almost to the actual audition where you're going to perform and book the job. The next tip number 9, is you want to nod and make eye contact when you're ready to sing. This is so important, especially when there's an intro. So if I have an intro, a lot of times as an accompanist, I'm waiting for you to make eye contact with me after you're at the center of the room ready to go. But if you don't make eye contact, if you're just kind of staring there, and then there's this awkward thing, and I'm kind of unsure, like, do I start? Are they in character? Are they not? Are they just taking a second? Are they waiting for the table to talk? What is happening? There's this weird energy. You don't want weird energy to ever enter the audition room. You want confidence, and for the casting team to feel like they know what they're doing. They're pros. They got this. So when you get to the center of the room, take a second, eyes down, and then when you come up almost to the accompanist, and a look, just a slight nod, a smile, and then into character. And then we will start the intro right after that. So important. Look at the accompanist, make eye contact, and nod. Remember, they're your friend at this point. They got your back. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost at the end of this video, but there are so many more videos that both Adrienne and I are putting out all the time about musical theater, whether we're talking to fellow Broadway stars or whether we're giving you behind the scenes look at the musical theater experience or giving you practical tips on the audition. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and hit the notification bell so you know when our latest videos are coming out. This is a new setup for us, so we've done a lot of videos in the past, and now we're kind of like upping our game a little bit. We're getting a new setup, and I'm starting to put out some solo videos to try to help you and give you the music director perspective. So if you're digging it, share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments videos you'd like to see. Okay, last tip. Tip number 10, assuming everything went great, your last tip is to gather your book from the accompanist. You did the audition and went great. Go to the accompanist and get your book. Don't forget your book. Get your book and leave the room with a smile and thank the accompanist and the room, but definitely the accompanist. Say thank you genuinely for playing their audition. It's difficult what the accompanists do. It's not an easy job, and you definitely want to thank them for the work that they're doing. So that's it. Now, you may be wondering, oh, but it almost never goes that well. The accompanist is like, what if the accompanist sucks? Stay tuned. My next video is discussing what to do when an accompanist sucks and you don't know what to do. Do you stop? Do you not stop? I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you some helpful tips, and how to address these real world experiences, because it doesn't always go exactly according to plan. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.